Oh, whoa. We're back in.
We
And
back.
this time I have Rob.
It's me.
It's Rob. Rob's gonna read for us a little bit, so you're not just hearing my voice anymore. You're gonna hear a
Yeah,
little
it'll
bit of
probably be
Rob.
okay.
I tried to catch up Rob as best I could. Hopefully I did okay.
Yeah, probably.
But we are jumping into I think it's teenage comes before adolescence. So, but
Okay.
normally at the beginning of the game, there was like this screen that popped up that was like, how do you feel about Cove? And you could say like you were indifferent, or like you were fine about them, or you didn't like them, or you did like them, and that kind of stuff. And I was expecting that to happen right after childhood stuff was over, but it never happened. So it just kind of jumped into the scene that you see right here at the bottom right. So I'm just
Okay.
it's just jumping in, I guess. So these are our two moms,
Yes.
Mom and Mommy.
Okay.
I think Mommy is the one that's on the left, and
Right.
Mom is the one that's on the right.
Uh,
And apparently Mommy, the one on the left, she says she's the cool one, the relaxed one.
okay.
All right, so I'll never get tired of that view. And this would be like narrator stuff, like Ollie stuff, if it's not listed, so I'll just read that.
Okay.
You stood beside your moms, Lizzie and Cove, as the five of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You like to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had magicians on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. You didn't do real magic, Mom. How did you figure that one out? Because I know that's not what real magic looks like. Oh dear, Lizzie. There's all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. You looked over at Cove, who hadn't said a word since you started home. He didn't look upset though, just content. You were aware he still hadn't quite warmed up to your parents. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan. Mom, summer's almost over. The protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. So now we have to make a choice.
Ooh,
These
okay.
can we play just a little longer? We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. Or you put on your best puppy dog eyes. Lizzie may not want to, but you planned on going home.
So is this from Ollie's perspective?
Yeah,
Or
it's
from
kind
the moms? Or okay.
yeah, it's kind of from like our perspective.
I gotcha.
And there was something in the tutorial that said like about, you see how there's different colors? Like some are yellow, some are green, some are blue.
Yeah.
Apparently that means something, but it doesn't like it like you should still go with your gut. Like certain things are like a more emotional response or a more content response, but I forget which one's which, so I just go with, you know, what I prefer. But it's
Yeah.
from Ollie's perspective, and so we're debating whether or not we should help with dinner. We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. I think I want to go with the first one. Can we beg, can we play a little longer?
Okay.
Mom looked down at you with a sigh, and you clasped your hands together to give your police some extra appeal. We'll help with dinner tomorrow. You immediately nodded in agreement with the very clever offer, shifting closer to Lizzie since your parents can't possibly resist the power of you two combined. Soon we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now, too. Lizzie made her case and then stomped her foot into the ground. You mimicked her, feeling that would add something to the argument. Well, oh, come on, Pam. I can help you with dinner. Mommy leaned in for a hug, and you knew that you were very close to victory. All right. But as soon as dinner's ready, you lot are coming inside, understood? Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Cove, dear, you're welcome to join us as well. You grinned at Cove and nudged his arm with your elbow. Cove gave a non-committal shrug to your mommy, which you took as an agreement. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I could still get the seashell bracelet at Tines and Trinkets. Oh, or maybe the playground or fireflies would probably be coming out, right? Alright, so don't I get a say in this? You silently made your own plans. We can't go too far, or I'm going home. After we just begged to stay out, I'm going home.
We're leaving.
I either want to go with the first or the third one. Don't I get a say in this? Or
Yeah.
we can't go too far.
I'm leaning towards number one. I don't know about you.
Number one? Okay. Lizzie
Yeah.
looked over at you, narrowing her eyes like she was very seriously contemplating the answer to that question. A strong gust of wind made you shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself. Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on her heel and heading off in the direction your mother's had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. You thought this over, looking off towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long she was disappearing off down the road. Meanwhile, Cove was going in the opposite direction, heading for the beach. So we follow our sister, or are we gonna go with Cove? I would say Cove.
Sure.
Like, heck, Lizzie. Lizzie does what Lizzie wants.
Okay. Goodbye, Lizzie. You're gonna get swept away by the rip current. We don't want that, though.
Well, Lizzie just begged to play, but now she's going home. Like, I don't understand Lizzie at all.
Oh, yeah.
Cove gave you a smile that you couldn't help but return.
Cool.
He made a little gesture that you interpreted as follow me and then started heading into the waves. Cove knelt down, picking up something you quickly identified as a smooth rock. He reared his arm back, then tossed it into the water. You were impressed over how far he got it to go. It sailed way out into the sea. It was a good toss. That was pretty neat. It wasn't a long throw, but he didn't care to try for that, or the rock sunk kind of like a rock and fell back down almost right after he tossed it. Which one do you want?
I'm kind of leaning towards two. It was all right.
It was a good toss. It's
Good.
pretty neat. You can't skip rocks in the ocean. What are you doing? Or you looked for your own rock. I don't want to like tell him he can't skip rocks in the ocean. Like that just ruin his dreams.
I mean, he can.
I want to just ask what he's doing. What are you doing?
Yeah. Nothing, really.
You tilted your head, wondering over the sudden pensive look on his face.
Just thinking.
About what? Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface, even though you were pretty sure he couldn't feel it. His brows were furrowed, and there was a frown on his face.
It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim.
When do you get it off, or how'd you get it? He never told us how he got it, but I feel like it's irrelevant to ask how he got it. I feel like it's more relevant to ask when do you get it off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cove shrugged and didn't say anything. For a second you thought maybe he didn't know, but finally he sighed.
A few weeks.
That's not very long at all. That is a while away. You didn't think a few weeks was that bad. I think all of these are like, it's not that they're bad answers, but the first one makes it seem like, oh, you're crying over nothing. That's not that long. And then the second one is like edging that on where it's like, oh man, that is a while away. I think the middle one might be better though.
Yeah, and also just the context that summer's almost over.
Right. You hoped the upcoming weeks flew by for Cove. It was clear how badly he wanted it off. Cove let out a huff, plopping down onto the sand.
I can't believe summer's almost over.
He sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change.
I don't want to go to school. I mean, I would. I don't want to go to a new school. I think it'll be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that.
Oh, you're going to like it. Everyone's super nice. You'd only ever been to the one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knees as he drew them to his chest. You heard a sniffling sound, and when you took a good look at his face, you realized that his eyes were wet.
I want to go home.
You never had to move before, but you thought you could understand. If you had to go to a new school all of a sudden with all new people, you'd probably be dreading it too. Even though you sort of maybe understood, you still weren't sure how to help. Okay, I'll see you later. Cove gave his head a small shake.
No, I want to go back home.
Right. Cove wanted to go back to his old home, the one that sat waiting someplace far from here, the one he would bring up whenever he felt this sad. It had been a while since he had moved in, but he didn't seem to feel any better about being here. He settled back down into the sand, trying to consider what to do. Do you hate it here? This can be your home. It'll be all right. I feel like the last one is the better answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you were sad about something, your mom said that to you. In the moment, you thought it couldn't possibly be all right because Sir Stuff-a-Lot lost his arm, or you skinned your knee, or you couldn't possibly finish all your vegetables. But in the end, they were always right.
You're not going to leave, right? You'll still be around?
The question was a little surprising. Of course. I would say of course.
Yeah.
Your parents would have mentioned if you were going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod.
Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming.
You were fine with him changing the subject again. Yeah, that would be fun. Cove smiled, then looked back into the waves.
My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually, that I'd feel better then. It used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything.
He spared a glance over at Cove and see the anger had slipped off his face in favor of something almost puzzled.
But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can't see it.
You could remember a long time ago when you'd first started going to school. You had absolutely not been okay with the idea of being away from your parents for most of the day, to listen to strangers tell you what to do and sit with kids you never met before. Things changing is hard. We hold hands? I can, or I'll make sure you do. We like holding hands. We've held hands a lot. You're not quite sure what to say to that, so instead you reach out and take hold of Cove's hand. The one closest to you is the one in his cast, so you make sure you are very gentle. As you watched, Cove's eyes got a little misty once more. You got the feeling that they were different tears than the ones from before, though.
I hope next summer I'll surf and go exploring and everything will feel like it's supposed to again.
You will. It will. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sounds of the waves. You hoped that Cove would be able to accept this place as his new home. You definitely try to help in what ways you could. There were so many wonderful things here Cove probably hadn't even seen yet. Austin thought you started a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. The sound of your mom shouting your name. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Time had gone by really fast. You stood and dusted the sand off yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked up at you, expression screaming reluctance, yet ultimately...
Okay.
When you smiled, Cove returned with one of his own.
Ollie?
Thanks.
Thanks.
It was nice where you were right then, but the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. You were being called forward. So the both of you ran off towards your house, leaving the waves and summer behind. So I guess that was actually the end of step 1.
Okay. Ooh, in between.
In between. Ah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so that's what we look like. And we're not going to change anything about how we look, I don't think. Do I have to change the page? This is all like just stuff. So I don't want to change anything. I guess you could like change like if your hair got longer or something like that, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
So this is, okay, so this is what I was looking for. So our comfort level around Cove, we can either be direct, relaxed, or nervous. And I think relaxed is totally fine. I don't think we need to be like extra direct or extra nervous. I think we're good here.
We don't need to be a little nervous.
And like fond or crush, like I kind of want to like leave it at fond just because like they're like just like kids, you know? And I don't think they got that stuff figured out yet. So that's why I was going to leave it like that. But I have a feeling when I hit ready, this is going to bring us to the next part, which I almost want to make like its own separate video because of the way I have this like separated, I guess. So I think this might be the end of childhood, and we'll start a new one for, I think it's teenage comes next. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. And if not, I'll just splice these videos together.
We'll see.
All right. Well, if this is the end of the video, then bye-bye. But if it's not, then this part of the video doesn't even exist. So who knows?
Yep.
Bye.